Huh. Well, I was on mute. Okay, we're going to start this again today. I am doing good today. All right. You can tell I'm still asleep. Okay, I have one that is a long that I'm going to mark as a green line up here, okay? And we're going to put it lime green. So the binary statement on this one is that I believe the euro will go above 1760. Okay? Now, to enter that trade, I paid $22 per contract, 10 contracts, it's $220. Please note that this is a demo account. I do not trade my live account in the room. Okay? If that's what you want, go find somebody and pay to go into their room. This is an educational room, and I'm going to keep it that way. All right, so you can see here, this expiration is at 11 a.m. I paid $22 per contract, and I have a profit target here of $92.50. So, in other words, at the announcement today, if it surges up, I'll get filled on my contracts, hopefully. Okay, on the flip side of that, if it comes down here and closes below 1500 by 11 o'clock, then I have a profit target set at $10.50. Okay, this one was $25 per contract, total risk of $250. Now, why would I choose to trade the binaries over the futures or the spot forex? I mean, after all, we're expecting a big movement. Shouldn't we jump into the market so we can make some profits? Well, a lot of people did that last week, and a lot of people got killed. I don't want to get killed in the market, okay? This way I know if it goes against me, on one side, I've got $250 of risk. It cannot go greater than that. Or on the other side, I've got $220 of risk, and it will not go against that. Does everybody understand that? Because a lot of people say, well, how do you choose between a binary or the futures or the forex? This is one example of, hey, I want to limit my risk today because we're dealing with an unknown. Everybody expects them to do something. Do they live up to those expectations? That's the key thing, okay? We don't know. So, does everybody understand that now that you can hear me and everything else? Now, this is a demo account. I'm going to say this again. I do not like for people to just take a trade because Gail's in the trade, okay? I have a lot of experience in trading. I don't know your experience. I don't know your risk limits. I don't care to know them. And I'm not going to be responsible for your mistakes, okay? Trading is risky. Everybody knows the typical disclaimers. Nothing new about those. And we'll just watch those and see how they do today. I do have binaries on my personal account because it's the only way I would trade today, period, end of discussion. And just to keep it on the legal side, I want to put the disclaimer up so everybody can read it. And there. I want to make sure I got it all in. Especially because I'm doing the demo this morning, I've got to be careful. Try to get everything on here. We do have crude oil inventories today as well. I believe they come in at 10:30 this morning. But I think the big one today is probably going to be the ECB and then the unemployment claims. Now, the crude oil inventories is not really going to be dependent on, the euro announcement. Most of the other markets are actually going to be dependent on what the euro decides. And they are expecting a very volatile market this morning. If you have a spot Forex account, that they have increased margins and everything else since last Thursday. A little bit too late, don't you think? I think we'll have a big movement today. Not necessarily one that equals last Thursday, but I think we'll have a big movement. It'll surprise me if it doesn't. And that starts at 8:30 this morning. Well, I thought I did too, Brandon, but I logged into FXCM this morning to see if they had processed my withdrawal, and they just ignored it. So I'm going to have to go back and request another one. I thought that was cute the way they ignored it. Yeah, it is. I was trading last night with MB Trading because I have another account with them. But I've got to process FXCM. I did think it was cute, though. Well, I mean, I know they got it. I got an email saying they received it, but I guess they decided to delete it. And I do know that they increased margins as well because I got that email. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. We are going to do something a little bit different. For those of you that came in late, I did show where today would be one of the days that I would do NADEX binaries. I wouldn't be in the future side, especially if you're trading the euro US dollar. And the reason is very simple. You're expecting a lot of volatility in the market, and I really want to cap my risk. And when I want to cap my risk, I go into NADEX. Now, again, this is a demo account. I just want to show you what it is that I would do, okay? Me personally, not making any recommendations there. So here you've got a short saying that the euro will be less than 1,500. For that binary option, you pay $25. Then on the euro US dollar being greater than 1760, you paid $22, okay? And that would be for 10 contracts. Now, these are known as out of the money options. That's the reason you could get this for 25, you could get this for 22. That is the maximum amount that you could lose, okay? Do have profit targets on both. I've got one profit target at $10.50. So if you subtract the 75, I'm sorry. Yeah, if you subtract the 75 from the 1050, that pretty much gives you $64.50 as a profit target. On the long side, you would subtract 22 and 92.50, and that would give you your potential profit on the long side. It's roughly about, 70 bucks, okay? So on this one, I've got the potential of making 700. On this one, I have the potential of making 650. Now, what happens if we don't get any volatility? In other words, the long side, it never comes above 760, and on the short side, it never goes below 1500. Well, then you've lost on both sides. Okay? So the only time I would ever do that is if I'm expecting a big market movement. In this case, I am. Everybody knows they're supposed to announce the quantitative easing, and it should move one direction or another. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to do something a little bit different in the room today because I do think the market is going to move after the Euro press conference. Okay? And I don't want to encourage anybody to actually go into those markets. I don't know your experience in this room. The people that I do know, then they know I'm not going to tell them what to do. But for those that are new, I don't know your experience and I don't know your risk level, and I'm not a CTA. So we're going to watch the markets. And, gold, you're probably going to get a big move on. Okay. The euro, you're probably going to get a big move on. On the DAX, you're probably also going to get a big move. As it stands right now, it looks like it's setting up to the short side. This actually looks like it's setting up to the short side too because the sellers came in on that last bar. Okay? On gold, again, looks like it's going to go down at the moment because they're stepping in on the seller's side. Okay? I would not be in these markets this morning because I think it could be a very volatile movement. Any questions on that? This is one time I would choose to use the benefits of NADEX. No matter how fast it moves, I've already limited my loss on NADEX. Okay, I did that on entry. Any questions on that, guys? 11 a.m. contract storage and NADEX are listed under dailies. But you're talking about the euro, US dollar, correct? If you click on the binaries, click on the euro, US dollar, and then click on daily. Have not been able to get multi-charts to mark the wide bars. I could do it tomorrow, Keith. It's actually pretty easy. If you go to Format Indicators, go to the trend, and Alert Trigger Ticks. This is the one that you would change. 45-minute, you could put 40 in there, and then say OK. Now, is it on the futures or is it on the Forex, Keith? See how I just did that? Okay, we'll have to do it tomorrow then. Now, sometimes the DAX does freeze up And I'm going to pull this over here. Remember, this is the short on the euro US dollar. We'll bring up the DAX as well. And I think it's frozen right now on multi-charts. It does that. Um, how do I know which viewer number I am? You're usually at the top of the list. Okay. Okay, this is the way the DAX is moving. Think, and I want to watch this because I've got a binary on that. So I think I put my binary at 460, somewhere around in there. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a big move this morning. I mean, they've been talking about it all week. We had advance notice on this movement. And it really does show why you would want to use the NADEX. Okay. And I'm going to change this to green. And I mean, normally the euro will not move that much. Okay. This is one time it will because of the market report. So let me bring that back and bring that one back. And we'll do this one. Now, I want to put these here because I do want to watch them. Do you see how gold is moving? Gold is a safe haven, okay? And yeah, the NADEX is going crazy. If you were not in NADEX before, now is not the time to be jumping into NADEX. Notice that, on these, I was in when, it was really low. I mean, you pay 25 for this one, 22 for this one, okay? I actually entered earlier this morning, so my risk was even lower, okay? But it was priced in to some extent with this movement. And by 11 o'clock, it's probably going to be all said and done. Yeah, I've been waiting for crude to go back up to 50 all week. I knew it would be going there, but I don't want to put the volume on here because it will slow it down because I've got so much stuff running this morning. Yeah, they're going to buy the bonds. No big surprise there. No, it wasn't that easy. I just know the euro, and I know that we should get a very substantial move on that, Kristen. And I wasn't willing to risk a lot of money either. So, now the press conference is still being held. They're still deciphering what he's going to say. I know a lot of questions on it was, how much they're going to be. No, Keith, it's posting your name. It's the message that you typed up was for everyone to see. That's the way it should be. Did you try to join as computer or join via computer? I'm sorry. I'll show you real quick. Let's see. Well, I can't because I'm already running the software. You have an option when you click the telephone. Let me bring that presentation back. Right here, there is an icon with the telephone on it. If you click that and then select Join via Computer, that does it. Yeah, there was one here on the 45-minute, 47.11. It's held it up so far. I've got some options on USO. Um, are you joining from an Android phone? I mean, that app is pretty lightweight. I would install the app. It's pretty lightweight. It doesn't take up a lot of memory. It's one of the reasons I like it. Um, I've still got GoToMeeting, um, but I actually like this one better for the recordings and stuff. The recording's actually a better quality, especially when I use it on their server. It's really, really nice. Yeah, you'd install it once, and after that, it pretty much picks it up from then on. But I mean, I like it because it's very lightweight. Well, I don't know yet. I haven't really decided. We're demoing it this week. I may buy that and keep GoToMeeting. I just like it because it's a lot more. It's easier. I have requested that they add some functions to it. Hopefully they will. So I don't know. Once you know, it's a learning curve. Took me, I don't know, I guess about 15 minutes to, figure out how to work everything in it from my end. It's pretty lightweight though. I like that. It doesn't lock up my computer. And it doesn't take me 4 hours to convert a video and put it up on the website. I think I could actually post recordings within about 45 minutes now. It converts it and all, and I just use a link. Huge difference on my end. Well, let me see it. That made a magenta pink. It's going back to the ATR. It missed this, what, by 9 ticks? There's your volume divergence there. Wouldn't you have anticipated it going back to the ATR? Now, I'm going to put this one over here because that one's not moving like it should. We do have a 1030 crude oil inventories, so we'll have to see what they do with that. Looks like the NASDAQ's going to go down this morning. Now, they usually actually have a big movement before the market report. Ooh, the DAX is starting to come in. Let's see if we can get the DAX above this line. I'll be one happy little camper. Let's see. Let me bring that off for a moment because I need to bring this one down. There we go. And then I can put the euro over here. So we can watch out my markets. Is there a way in Ninja to turn them off? Easily? No. But you can do it if, and I don't have the market analyzer open, Bill, But what you would do, and it would be, in the market analyzer, you have to do this by columns. And no, oh, here it is. You have an ATR audio alert and the congestion alert. If you delete anything in that in each of the columns on the market analyzer, then you can do it. I can also do a template, which is probably easier, and then you could apply the template. I think that would be much easier for you. If you'll send me an email, I'll do one and send it to you. I'm going to do this weekend, I'm going to do some videos on changing the market analyzer. So you can either wait for those videos or send me an email and I'll do them. On the Android? Mm. All right, I'll talk to them and see what they say. There might be a solution to it. I don't know. I don't use Android. Okay. Let me talk to them and we'll find out. They may have a solution to it and I just don't know because I'm pretty new to it too. Well, the U.S. jobless claims fell from a 7-month high. The binary that I have on the DAX has all day to get up to. Actually, my binary option on that is at 10,460. If you're trading gold, it has, I believe, until 1:30 p.m. Now on the euro, I did 11 a.m. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do the binary options is number one, I wanted to limit my risk. I always believe in taking care of my account first. So that was number one priority for me. And number two, I knew that I would be in the trading room when all of these news announcements came out, so I couldn't take advantage of it on the future side. So, the alternative to that was being able to do the binaries. And of course, I did one on the DAX, I did one on the Euro US dollar, did one on gold because these are the markets that I knew would move. Now, apart from that, I also did one on the Euro British pound because I thought it would move, and the Euro yen. These are just typical ones that would move off of a Euro report, especially the rate announcement when they're expecting big news. Does everybody understand that? And it was very important to me because I couldn't monitor my trades. And if I can't monitor my trades, you can bet I'm going to limit my risk in some other fashion. Nadex binaries was the best one. Now, I didn't like the spreads. You could have done a spread. I just didn't like the spreads that were available this morning. So I didn't do any. So on crude, I would actually be analyzing what happens when it comes back to the ATR. The crude is in the lower right-hand corner. It's a 45-minute chart. And I would analyze that volume as it came back to that ATR because not only do you have an ATR, you also have what? A congestion line that was formed early this morning. Um, what? Yeah. Let me pull these off to the side so I can pull them back on later. Okay. If you go back on crude, there is a dot right here that was generated January 9th at 4:15. I had to go back on this one. It seems like 20 days, maybe. No, it was 260 bars or 280 bars. So I could get that one. And I knew it was one there because I had it on NinjaTrader as well. 2 to 1 as risk to reward or 2 to 1 reward to risk. You're already at max loss on the long side, Dan. There's no managing that. All right. Well, let me show you. Okay. I've got this one. I paid $25 for that, and I've got the potential to make $65. Okay. So yes, you can. It's you have to go out of the money. That's how you do it, and I like out of the money binaries. So yeah, I am so particular over risk to reward that I really do want to make sure I get a good risk to reward ratio when I'm trading. Um, Dave, I'll give you a call later today. Um, let's see. Let me get your number down. Yeah, just in the future, you may not want to put your email address or phone number there. As everybody can see it, I suggest that you email me for that. But I'll call you later today. We'll work it out. Where can I find the trade room video recordings? If you go to the blog, I actually have, it's called the cloud tag. Hold on. let me bring it up and I'll show you real quick. If I've just posted them, they're going to be on the home page. But if you go to one, let's say you go to the one that I did yesterday, okay? But directly beneath the article, there are tags, and you can actually find the tag in there. It says trade videos, including live trading room. And if you click on that, it gives you a list of all the videos that I've posted. So that's an easy way to get to them. About 9 o'clock, Keith, would be good. I don't have any meetings tomorrow morning at 9, so we can do it at 9. I had a nice pullback yesterday on gold. And there goes the euro. On the short, Keith, yeah, it came in right here. They're going to be on Saturdays. And I'm just about to tell you when they're going to be right now, Christian. We're going to do February 21st and February 28th. So that gives everybody, a week to practice before the seminars. I really want everybody to come to the seminar ready to rock and roll. Yeah, the seminar is the 9th and the 10th. And actually, I think we're going to start at 7 o'clock both mornings, um, because I want everybody coming into the room already doing what I do. For example, the reviews I do at the end of the week for the upcoming week on where the futures or whatever will go. I want everybody doing that before they come into the room Monday morning and Tuesday morning. On gold yesterday, let me see, because I don't see no spike there. Let me get those off. No, there was volume divergence all the way. Yeah, on that entry, there was no volume spike. They started pulling back here, lower, lower, lower. That's your entry bar there. This, you're late to the game if you're waiting on the close. Let me get my charts back now. Yes. Christian, I got at 9 o'clock. So, how about 10 o'clock? We should be finished. Keith, also tomorrow at 9 o'clock, you can just come into the room. I'll set up a meeting. Just do the join me / traders help desk. You'll have to knock and then I'll let you in. It's the easiest thing in the world because that way I can see your computer and correct any of the issues. That's one reason. Yeah, in this room, you just use the same login. Same link. That's why I like this program. I can do it with anybody. But I'll send you an invitation. After 1:30, you have the weekly, and I think the new ones don't become available until midnight, but I'm not sure, Dan. I've never really looked at that. Oh, that's what I hate is the early close. But now this morning it was okay because you've got the rate announcement on the euro, and then you have the U.S. opening session. You know you're going to move a lot. So it was great for today. But a lot of times I'm like you, that just aggravates the piss out of me. I trade gold until 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so why are you closing in at 1:30? Yeah, I knew it was. That's a nice little move down. 15 points, that's 150 ticks. I can take a profit when it's 150 ticks potential there. I knew it was. It was about 300 ticks, actually. Potential. Give me potential and I'll take some profits. Now, you're not seeing volume divergence on crude right now. Just something to be aware of, guys. Let's see what the crude prices are. Flip it. Well, let's see. See what the binaries are. Well, you could do a $46 one. It's less than $20 of risk. There's and this is to the short side. 46.50 would be right about $27 to the long side. You could do 48.50 if you thought it was going to go up. It doesn't look like it's going to with that volume right there. Yeah, so far it's moved from my entry price at 75 down to 35. It's got another $25 to go. No, yeah, 25. Right now, I don't like the way the volume is looking on crude. That could change because that bar is not going to end until 9:30 this morning. So, I mean, they could come in at the last moment and actually decide to buy crude. Right now, I'm not liking the way it looks. No, I'm not long on crude. I said I would wait until that bar finished before I decided. Right now, it looks like it might go down because there's definitive sellers coming into the market. Need to see a new low come in, though. A short Buddha entry on crude at 812. 3 minute bar off the 45-minute magenta peak. Can you give me your take? Um, Hold on, because I'm gonna have to set up another chart. Okay, do file, new, file. Come on now. Copy window. File. Paste window. Now, format it. Go to 3 minutes. You're talking about right here? Yeah. That's your Buddha entry. It's right here. You had a valid entry. It's a good Buddha. Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Yes, it was. There was volume divergence there. Where did the name come from? We name all of the trades after our dogs, and Rick's dog, his name is Buddha. So I didn't have any more names from dogs, so we used his dog. And that was Buddha. Yeah, it's always dog related. My kids are very jealous over that. No, most of my trades are named after my dogs. I had ran out of names at the time. I didn't have the puppies. And Rick said, I have a dog. His name is Buddha. I said, okay, sounds good to me. Yes, it is. I still talk to Rick a lot. He's still trading a lot of the stock options. I think a lot of people were just wanting to see futures in Forex. So yeah, I like it on stocks. I'm not a heavy stock trader. I trade, stocks that I use every day. Um, Verizon, Duke Energy. I trade Ford because my granddaddy worked for him. Uh, just things that I really know that I use every day because then it reminds me I own the stock. Yeah, Rick trades a lot of Apple. I don't, um, like I said, I trade certain ones that I've traded for a long time. That's the only ones I trade. I find it very boring. It's the only reason why. This stuff works on it, so that's not an issue. I'm thinking about it, Christian, about doing videos. I'd have to come out to the office to do them. Oh no, not a live trading room on Sunday. I guess I could though if I was bored. I probably will because, as most of you know, my son's going to boot camp. Um, February 9th is when he leaves, so I may need something to keep me busy. So we may have some sessions. Now, if we do, I know we're going to use this room for it because I would send out an email early Sunday morning saying, "Hey, we're going to have a session today at 10 o'clock. Join us." I don't have to set up a meeting or any of that other uh, stuff. And I'm going to need something to keep me busy. I already know I'm going to be a nervous wreck. I have not been alone like that in, I don't know, 40 years. It's going to be pretty bad. He's my last baby going off to the army. So it's going to be pretty hilarious. Yeah, we could do it, sometime Sunday. And I actually may do it because I will need to work a lot more to keep my mind off of my son not being home. It's already gotten bad around my house. Yeah, just furry babies. Uh, we'll be eating dinner and I'll start crying. He's laughing. So, oh, I've got 6 dogs, so they'll keep me busy. At least they don't argue and make messes like my son does. It's a good part of everything, I guess. Yes, he's going into the army. He signed in, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. Got sworn in. Um, so he leaves for his boot camp February 9th. We are going to the beach the weekend before to have a party with his sisters. I know he doesn't listen though. He wants to save the world. All I can say, Sash, is he is as stubborn as I am. No, it's not mandatory at all. No, he was not. He was born in Virginia, but you know, he loves the army. He loves the military. So I don't know why he did not inherit that from his mother, but it's his choice. Thank you, Colleen. I was hoping he would change his mind, but he didn't. He's determined to do it. So, oh my gosh, the U.S. market opened and there's nothing. That's what I'm hoping he'll bring away from it. Um, but he loves the gadgets and all the other stuff that goes with it. So we'll wait and see. If he gets stationed in Germany, I'm moving to Germany. So just it's a joke, guys. Not seriously. Oh, I love Germany. It reminds me a lot of where I live now. I suspect on crude they're at least going to come and make another low there. Oh, we would so be all over Europe. I don't think it's his first choice, but I think he did put Germany down as a choice to go to. With all of my kids being gone, I may go back to Germany this year as well. I'm not sure if I'll do a seminar over there, but I may just go for another visit. I love Germany, and I do like their beer. One of the few things I do like. Yeah, the only thing I can say about France is I like the pastries. But we had a good time when we went to Paris. We stayed in one of the neighborhoods there and visited a lot of the neighborhood restaurants and stuff and did all of the sights and stuff. It was pretty cool. Looks like the euro may pull back on that 15-minute chart. hmm I would expect it right now as it stands to pull back to around 1641. It may even out about here, which is the previous ATR, 1609. I'm a little bit surprised we haven't seen more market movement at the open. Yeah, I don't really trade the Russell. Uh, what do you mean your volume is real light? I don't understand that. Let's see if I can turn my. Is that better? My volume's all the way up. Is anybody else having trouble hearing me this morning? Okay, it's not a problem. All right. At what point would I think about changing my profit target on the euro? Was that your question, Christian and Dan? Without looking at my charts, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Sash, which one is better, the web app or the web or the app? I'm just curious. I haven't ran both of them. Oh, okay. Yeah, I use all Intel. I don't even think I use AMD on my laptops. I trade both currency futures and I trade spot forex. Some of the spot forex that I trade, Brandon, is not available as a future. Like the euro yen, the British pound Aussie, euro Aussie. They're not available through the future side. So it depends also on whether I'm going to be in overnight or not. Um, I don't take a whole lot of overnight trades, um, especially on the majors. I may on some of the slower moving currencies, but not typically on the majors. We had beautiful movement on the Canadian yesterday because they had their rate announcement. But again, to me, that was a great example of why I would use the options because it was a rate announcement. You were expecting a big movement. And really, pretty much the only movement we've had this morning were the ones I anticipated, which was the DAX, the Euro, and gold. The U.S. indices are pretty much doing nothing. We've had a 100 pip move on the Euro. For the Euro, that's a pretty good move. I'd like to have seen more. We had about a 100 point move over on the DAX. Again, I was anticipating more, considering the DAX can move 200 to 300 points in any given day. 100 points not that much, but it was better than the Dow, the Nasdaq, or the ES. And of course, gold will move anytime one of the currencies move because it's a safe haven. If you're moving from spot to futures and you're only trading the majors, yeah, the currency futures are really good to trade. Yeah, the Swiss franc will be a good one to trade now that it's not pegged to the euro. British pound, a good one to trade. Swiss franc, euro, the Aussie dollar, the Canadian. Um, they're all good to trade on the future side. A lot of times some of the slower moving ones, you may want to focus on the 12 and 45 and 180 because some of them will not move for a 3 minute chart, and you can tell, Brandon, because you'll have gaps, and if you see gaps, it's telling you increase your time frame. Oh, the DAX tick value is 1250 euro per tick, and there's 2 ticks to a point. It's a lot, Colleen. Oh yeah, it moves. It really moves. Even any given day, you're going to have 150 to 200 points on the DAX. Um, and generally, it follows the movement of the Dow, or the Dow follows it. But it's a nice moving market, if you have experience. Yeah, it is. I thought that was an interesting correlation as well. Um, Yeah, a lot of people will use 1 hour and 5 minutes, Brandon. I've used 3, 12, 45, 180, 720, and 1440 for longer than I care to remember. Okay, so I trade what I know, and those are the time frames that I know. So they're the ones that I trade. And I feel very frustrated when I change my time frames. That's one reason I don't change them. And I do time frames because I want to know if I need to go get a cup of coffee, I got 3 minutes to do it, or I've got 12 minutes, or I've got 45 minutes. That's why I don't do range and Rincos. Then I'm dealing with another unknown. The market as an unknown is bad enough, but now I have the unknown of knowing when this price bar is going to end. It's not good for my mentality, so I don't put myself through it. And really, that's it. That's my reasoning behind it. Now it looks like the index is going to go down, which means the DAX would follow. We'll have to wait and see, though. Not getting a lot of selling volume in any of the indices, though. If you're looking at the volume, do you see how low it is? Now, that bar just started building, and that could be why. I'm interested to see what crude says at 10:15 because we have the crude oil inventories at 10:30. I would actually like to see crude touch 47.15 on the Virgin volume. We got, I don't know, another $10 on the euro, and we'll have a profit target. They're 11 o'clock is the expiration on them. But see, and this one, remember you've got $220 of risk on this one. So even if you exited right now, you would have still had a $300 profit. And you limited your risk. That's the portion that I liked. Especially when you were expecting something like this. If that stays like that, market's going to go up. You won't know until 10:30. If this stays like that, market's going to go up. You have to come back and check in 10:30. Okay. The same thing on the S&P 500, and that's correlated to a congestion dot that's back here. It's come back to test it. As it stands right now, there's not a lot of sellers in, but you've got until 10:30 on that bar. Okay. Don't kid yourself. They can change that. And I'm just going to mark them real quick. You're forming a congestion dot here, and you have, this is not my normal workspace. My normal workspace has all of these measured. So you've got potential resistance there. Support, excuse me. You also have potential support here. And again, it's, a little bit too early. That's a double support area though. And you also have it over here. Oop. And again, you do need to watch that volume because it can change. There's another 30 minutes in that. Okay. I'm just pointing it out to you so that you notice. Now, I know this one over here has not made a new low because my volume bar is not red. That's what I'm waiting to see. All right. Now, for those of you that I was showing the binary to, do you see how you're down to $7? Now it's 18. It was at 14. If you're worried about that bouncing up now, that would be the time to say, okay, $4 is not worth it. I'm going to go ahead and take profit. Do y'all understand that? Because now you're starting to see some divergence coming in on the lows here. Do y'all see that? So it comes into, okay, is $4 worth it? And I'll show you now because it's at 15.50. Okay. All right. Is that worth it? Is it worth an extra $40 to sit here and that might bounce against you? Okay. Do y'all understand that? Yeah, grab it and go. Is it probably going to make it? Yeah, probably is. Would you want to miss your profit because of $3 or $4? Yeah, why sweat it? That's the point. We did, and this is a demo, okay? I was showing people if they wanted to trade the euro announcement, how they could trade it without using spreads. And basically, all I did was say, okay, it's either going to be below 1500 or it's going to be above 760. Okay. And I did 10 to the long side here, 10 to the short side here. Okay. This one, we have lost $220. In fact, with commissions, it would be $238, I believe. But on this side of it, we've made almost almost 600 now. Okay, so you're still coming out with a profit of about $375. But the important reason that I would have done that is because you didn't know how the market would react, whether the euro was going to implement quantitative easing or not. So you knew there would be movement. You didn't know what kind of movement there would be. That's when you trade the binaries. You limit your risk, cap it on entry. I'm in it in my live account, not even worried about it because I do have profit targets in. And I know I'm not going to lose that much money because I paid the risk on entry. Now, I only did that because we had this announcement this morning, and I knew that it was going to move. And I also knew I wouldn't be able to monitor it because I would be in a trading room with y'all. Okay? Okay, that's when I pull in my NADEX. I'm still making money, but I did cap my risk so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, now on crude, you see that it's come back to this line. So far, it's doing it on diverging volume, but you do have another 15 minutes before that bar ends. Right now, it looks like the indices are going to go up. They're starting to buy the low there. A lot can change before that bar ends. As it stands right now, it looks like it's going to go up. Everybody understand that one? If you're watching the little hash mark, you see it's moving upwards. That tells me they're coming in and they're buying the low. And it could be that they're taking profits too. Okay. Like I said, you still have about 30 minutes before that ends. Without looking at them, Dan, I can't tell. I haven't opened all of my charts because I wanted to watch just these for that market announcement this morning. I think the more important thing would be to look at the 180. Did it flip the ATR on the 180? Is the ATR from the 180 holding it up? Okay. Did you get divergence at the ATR or congestion dot if it formed one on the 180? If it flipped the ATR, what does it typically do? It will go back and test the ATR to make sure that there is resistance to push gold down. Do you understand that, Dan? Yeah, if it's still above the 180 ATR and there was divergence at the ATR on the 180, then it could continue up because the 180 ATR is supporting it to go up. On the other hand, if it flipped the ATR on the 180, then in that case, it may just be going back to test the 180 ATR right now because it flipped it from blue to red. So it's going back and it's testing to see, okay, do we have resistance that will continue to push price down? If the answer is yes, it will continue down. And I just don't have them open. Sorry about that. My son came in. Does the computer need to be left on to capture directional volume history? What trading platform are you using? NinjaTrader, no. In fact, NinjaTrader, you can actually download it. Well, I take that back. It depends on your data feed as well, Artemin. I use Kinetic for mine. And if you're using Kinetic, let me find my NinjaTrader window. Okay. You have the option. Kinetic does provide the historical data. So, for example, here, I can go to download and I can choose anything, any symbol I want. Let's go crude. Okay. I have to tell it to download the tick, the bid, and the ask. Okay. And then click download. I think with Mirrors, it gives you that information, but I'm not 100% certain. But I believe they do. I just, I can't be 100% certain. You're welcome, Artemin. Okay, now, and I want to show you this because we have the crude oil announcement coming out in just a few minutes. Okay, and you can see that right now we've got volume divergence. It looks like that they're buying this low. So let's say that we believe that it's going to go up, and you know you could go probably at least $1 out of the money. So right now it's at 47.82, correct? So if we believed that it would go up to 48.05, we could get that for 11 bucks. Okay? Do y'all see that? Now we're a little bit early, so you'd really be risking the full $11 per contract, okay? But if it does, then you have made money. I've got, well, the last I looked, it was at 10:30, but let's go back and look at it again because they've been changing these market reports on us. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. So we're going to have to go out to the daily then, and that's probably going to screw us up because they're probably all gone. Now you can get 48.50. What else could you get? Yeah, 48.50 is about the only one I would do. So you could still do this one, okay, which is 21 bucks. For some reason, they keep changing our market reports. Infuriating. But again, you know that no matter what happens on that, it's got until 2:30 today to move up to $48.50. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm used to it being 10:30. I thought I actually said 10:30, but I might have misread it too. Do you see how right now they're buying the low on the Dow, they're buying the low on the Nasdaq, and they're doing it on the S&P 500? If that behavior continues, I believe the market will go up. And typically, if they're going up, it means what for gold? Typically, if they're going up, gold will come down. Is it always? No. Yeah, blue light special by the low. That's cute. And do I ever use volume footprint for my trading? No. It takes my focus off of my charts. That's why I don't use it. Now, my programmer has one that's called the Logic Wand, Brandon. I've used it. Uh, Primarily only when I'm in a trade and I want to see where the volume nodes are, I'll use it. But that's about the only thing I use. Sometimes, and, a lot of this is dependent on traders, okay? But a lot of times we love to add complex indicators to our chart, and it takes away our focus from entering trades. And that's the one thing I look at. The more complex it is, the less apt I am to enter a trade because I'm busy analyzing. And my job is not analysis. My job is to trade. So it has to be simple for me to be able to do that. Especially when you're trading a 3-minute chart, okay? Set an egg timer and let it ring at the end of every 3 minutes, okay? And I'm not being, facetious when I say that, but you'll learn. You've got, 180 seconds. It's not that long. How many things will you miss? How many trades will you miss because you couldn't get everything done within 180 seconds? Yeah, it is pretty quick. And, I know my indicators really, really good. And I can miss stuff in 180 seconds that I should have been paying attention to. If Especially before I had the market analyzer screen completed. And that's not saying there's anything wrong with it. It may work very well for some people. I learned on cumulative delta, and it's cumulative delta is really, really good. Just can't trade it on the live edge because I'd never take a trade because I'm looking at the cumulative delta screen. And then I miss my trade. And what happens when you miss a trade? Then you get mad because you missed the trade. Well, when you miss the trade, then you get angry, and then you come back and you're angry, and you're not taking the trade on the merit of the trade. You're taking it off of what? Your emotional status and being mad at the market. Not conducive to trading. I'll tell you that right now. Not conducive at all. These are the types of behaviors I want to avoid. Ironically, it will be the smallest thing that makes a difference in your trading. Not the big one, the smallest things. The things that you think won't matter. It has to be for me to do it. I'm not a brain surgeon. It's got to be simplistic for my mind to wrap itself around it. And that's really why I use the colors so much too. They're easily recognizable. How many of you have ever, and this is something simple, I know, but for example, right here, you go, okay, is this one lower? And and literally, I'm doing it now. I wish you could see it. You scrunch up to the computer and say, okay, is this lower than this one? I don't have to do that. If my volume bar is red, it is. Yeah, I'm a trading surgeon. I like that, Colleen. That's the reason I programmed the price action into the volume so I don't have to do that. It was killing my eyes, man. Trading in the Zone is a good book. I read it a long time ago. I don't even care to remember how long ago. Um, it's a good book, but the only thing that I really, walked away from the book with is just take the damn trade. If the trade's there, take it. It's probabilities. And most people don't understand probabilities. If I say you have a 50-50 chance of winning, then their take on that is, okay, I'll have 50 wins and 50 losses. That's not what it means. It doesn't work out in that perfect little scenario. You may have to take 1,000 trades. Well, not 1,000, but you may have to take 550 trades before you hit that winning streak of 50%. And that's the part they don't get. Yes, we do. And I'll tell you something else, Bill. The way that the brain is built is you will remember the bad stuff first. That's the bad stuff is what we give more value to in our brain because, it's going to protect us, and in order to do that, it gives more credibility or more weight to the bad stuff. Okay? And I'll tell you an example. One September, and I wrote about this in one of my books. I can't remember which one, but one September, I was absolutely devastated that entire month because I knew when I sat down to do my trade analysis at the end of the month and go over my monthly report, I was going to be negative. And literally, I was depressed. And I was putting it off. I didn't want to do it. And then I got the shock of my life because I actually had the best month I'd ever had. But I remembered the negative trade. And the negative trade just it so happened that month I had been in the market. There was a market report. It jumped my stop and scared the pure living crap out of me. That's what I remembered. So I figured I was down for the month, but I was actually up, and I had one of the best months I'd ever had. So why did I spend the whole month feeling bad? And it was because I remembered the losing trade, not the winning trades, just the loser. That's why they call it a negative assessment machine. Okay, we just exited the binary that we entered earlier today. In the demo account, we exited that with profit targets, which means even after, and I'll pull it over. So even after this loss of $220, we still made, I want to say it was around $500 in the demo. Okay, I don't trade my live account. And we had capped our risk on entry. Now, I would not have done that, okay, if we did not have the rate announcement. Because, I mean, I was way out of the money on that, okay? Do y'all understand that? Being human is terrible when you're trading. Let's see. I'm trying to see if they have anything on the crude side. What got loud? I didn't hear anything. Other than me going, put that up there, do a refresh. Let's go to commodities, crude. Okay, we have one at 12 p.m. now. Well, let's see what kind of crude we have. Okay, so on the crude side, and again, this is because you're expecting the market report on crude, okay? Current price is at 47.15, 47.16. If you thought it would go up, you could do 47.82, okay? So you could do one at 47.82, and I'll do it just to show y'all. Well, see if I can place the order. Okay, and that's because we believe that it will go up. Please tell me I did 12 o'clock. Yeah, I did 12 o'clock. And then if we think it's going to go down, the only potential we have is a 67.50. That would be more risk than I would want to take. You could do it if you wanted to. I would go out to a daily and see if I could get something else that wasn't that expensive. Um, okay, this is you could get 46 for less than $20. Again, the 46.50, you're still coming in about $30. So if I really felt like I had to be in crude, that would be the only one I would want to do because I want to make sure there's enough profits there. Okay, so now you've got two. Okay, it's got an hour to move, and you would need to put in your order ticket to take profits. This is to buy, and let's say 15.50. And for this one, we bought that, so we would go into the order ticket, and let's just go 92.50. And that way, if we get a pop on either side, we're covered. It does expire at 12 o'clock, so it's either got to do it or not. Okay? Does everybody understand that? And again, that is on the demo side, not my live account. Just showing you how to limit your risk when there is a potential. Since we are waiting on the crude oil inventories, I'll go ahead and stay until 11 o'clock today. And we'll see what happens. I really want the DAX to get above this green line because I do have a binary on that one. I have to see. On the DAX, I believe it's 4 o'clock. I did the daily binary, but I think the DAX ends at 4, if I'm not mistaken, Dan. I'll tell you real quick. It's got all day, so yeah, it's 4 p.m. I can't get my Forex factory to come up. They're actually expecting the crude oil inventories to come in at 2.5 million, which would be down from the previous month. We'll see. On the Nadex Pro, Dan? Yeah, I don't know why it would do that. That is a little bit weird. I don't like the Nadex Pro. I like the web version better, but the web version doesn't always update like it should. I need to update my Nadex Pro software, though. They may have made some changes to it since the last time I updated. They usually change it about every day. It's taken me a while to get used to it. And one of the worst things is stupid tabs. I hate those. Just personally, I don't like those tabs. I always end up clicking on the wrong damn binary. I've written reminders and everything else. Make sure to click on the right binary. And that's where I'm focused on my chart, not on clicking a tab. But it is what it is, guys. Yeah, you always have to get used to the platforms. But so like MB trading, I'm using it now to trade my Forex again. And I'm having to get used to that platform again. It'd be nice if they made one platform and everybody went by that platform. I don't like hooking it up into NinjaTrader. I'll do it, but I don't like to. Yeah, it does need to be second nature. And, one reason I don't hook my accounts into NinjaTrader all the time is I'm afraid that, um, I'll try to show y'all something in the trading room and go in my live account and not realize it. And the other thing is I don't want my broker seeing what I'm trading. Yeah, I'm paranoid about that. So And just while we're watching this, especially for TradeStation and multi-chart users, do you see how it's plotting an ATR down here and here? That's because I have it update intrabar. If I take that off, these will go away. I don't know if they do or not. It's just one of my conspiracy theories that I don't want to have to worry about. So I have my trading platform on one computer and I have my brokerage on the other. Yeah, and MB trading is a ECN. So they're just do your orders, but I don't want to have to worry about it. I don't want anything in my head about conspiracy theories because it affects the way I trade. I feel like, oh, somebody's sitting there watching me. They're out to get me. And they probably are. We all know that. We all know that there's the big boys and they're watching us and setting us up and all that other good stuff. Oh, yeah, I would agree, Sash. But, yeah, our brains can play tricks on us. Yeah, but don't you think if they're watching that, then they're going to divide it up? Because that's what I would think. They don't want to be on the radar, so to speak. When Janet Yellen is trading, they're watching you. It's just one less thing for me to worry about. And that's the way that I see it, literally. Just one less thing for me to worry about. I know they can't see it, they're not correlated. So, yeah, she's printing it. There was a currency, I don't remember which one it was, but it was in a congestion pattern. And you could literally see that each time it went down and touched the ATR, they would buy it, and they would buy it, and they would buy it. And this went on for, I want to say, about 2 hours. I mean, you could literally see it. But, and these are the ones that they're going to be hard to recognize if you really don't know how to read the volume. But you could tell every time it hit that area, that was it. They were buying it. They were buying it. They were buying it. Well, it could be accumulation or distribution, depending on whether it's at the bottom or at the top. Pip view, Sash? Yeah, I've seen that. Um, I just couldn't make heads or tails out of it. I could see it and I could understand it, but to me, it goes back to I think it would take my focus off my price charts, so I won't do anything that takes my focus away from them. But I have seen that. Um, Sometimes it's just a matter of what works for you. And the euro is still going down. And really, that shouldn't have been a big surprise to anybody. They anticipated that happening. That's the reason they unpegged the Swiss franc with the euro. It's because the Swiss franc thought that was going to happen, and they didn't want their currency devalued. Notice how the Dow is coming back to the ATR on the 45-minute chart. You need to see some buyers coming into that market. It's not coming in yet. Hopefully they will anyway, because I want the DAX to go up to 460. They may not give me what I want. Yeah, I couldn't imagine anybody thinking the euro would go up. I really couldn't imagine that one. But if the Swiss bank unpegged the euro, that was like a given. I think they were giving everybody a heads up because I think a lot of people didn't trade it today, scared of it. That reminds me, I want to see what the euro British pound did. Ooh, it dropped too. The euro British pound has gone from 76.67 now trading at 75.69. Okay, we got about 9 more minutes for the crude oil inventories to come out. And once that comes out, I will end the session. So I just want to see what they do. Well, we should have it pretty quick here. Another maybe 2 minutes. Ooh, crude oil inventories came in at 10.1. Huge difference from what they anticipated. So if it goes down, we make money on the short binary and we lose $225 on the long binary. All right. Any other questions today, guys? If not, we'll be back next week, same time, same place. Any questions before we end today? Well, thank you, Bill. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. You too, Sash.